and welcome. It's Rishi here from meditatewithrishi.com, and today we are going to be speaking about how to do a breathing meditation. It sounds really simple, right? Just focus on your breath. And it is very simple. But I just want to give you a few tips, two areas to be precise, two techniques that you can use so that you know that you are doing it correctly. Because quite often, we sit down and we start practicing, and then a thought comes, am I even doing this correctly, right? Is this making any difference? So I want to give you the confidence and the clarity to know that you are doing it correctly, okay? So we'll go through that. But before we do that, I want to share with you 5 really cool things, 5 reasons why the breath is a great object for meditation, okay? So, number 1, the breath is your mind's best friend. Our mind, it loves to listen to the sound of your breath. The moment you do that, any anxiety, any worry, any fear, it just begins to subside. Because I don't know what it is about the breath, but it's the bridge between our body and our mind, okay? So, using the breath, you can go from body to mind and just penetrate all the layers and go down deep into what is your true self, okay? The breath is kind of like a taxi that you use to reach that inner silence, that inner stillness. So for that reason, the breath is your mind's best friend. Anytime you are feeling anything but peace, come back to the breath, and it will make you really peaceful, okay? Number 2 is the breath is universal, There is no Hindu breath, Muslim breath, Christian breath. Breath is breath. It can be used by anyone from any tradition as an object for meditation. So that's another reason why it is fantastic, okay? Number 3, the breath is mobile. You take it with you wherever you go. Right? Unlike a candle flame that many people use, you need to have a proper setup for the candle flame. And it's okay if you like the candle flame. But with the breath, it comes with you wherever you go. Even if you're stuck in traffic or waiting in the line or anything, you have the choice at every moment to just come back to the breath and come back to the present moment. It's so powerful. You can do it anytime. You can literally meditate 24/7 just by keeping your attention on the breath. And you should, okay? So that was number 3. The breath is universal. Number 4 is the breath is actually divine. In Patanjali's Yoga Sutras, it is said that the best object for meditation is one that reminds you of God, of divinity, essentially, right? But it doesn't have to be from a religious perspective. Let's just be very real here, right? If there is one thing that was taken away from you and you'd stop living, that is your breath, right? You can live without food, water for a few days, but you cannot live without breathing, right? So the breath is the thing that keeps us alive, the very essence, the life-giving force. And by that definition, the breath is divine. It is what gives life, essentially. And when we focus on this, we become very aware of the fact that we are alive. And we become very aware of the life around us, and we fall in love with it, okay? And this is why the breath is a very it goes beyond religion, beyond anything. It is the essence of pure divinity, in my humble opinion. Okay, so this makes it a great object for meditation because it makes the mind silent and it fills you with love. It really does, right? So if you practice, you probably know what I'm talking about. If you don't, then you don't need anything fancy. Just focus on the breath and experience it for yourself, okay? And number 5, the coolest thing about the breath, in my opinion, is that the breath is enough. It is enough. I know on the internet, you find so many different types of meditations from all the different traditions, and that is great. There's nothing wrong with any of that. You're free to use that, but it is important to know that just because something sounds more complicated or advanced, it doesn't make it better. It doesn't make it better. A bodybuilder who is competing for in a let's say international competition, he still does the bench press, the squats, and the deadlift. The technique has not changed just because he's competing at that level. Okay, so it is not the object that matters. It is your attention, your awareness, your power of concentration, and then anything can become an object of meditation. So the point is to improve your power of concentration, and the breath, because of all the reasons we spoke about. It's always with you, right? It's universal. It's always with you. It is divine. It is your mind's best friend. So if you like the breath, then this is just a kind of reaffirmation to you. Use the breath if you like it. Don't worry, okay? Don't worry about needing something more complicated, okay? All right, so I wanted to get that out. I wanted to make sure you know all those things. So now let's get into how do you do the breathing meditation, okay? So very, very simple. I'm going to assume that these instructions are for after you have taken, your comfortable posture and you are ready to begin the practice, okay? So the first thing that you do, very simply, is just begin by listening to the sound of your breath. Listen to the breath coming in, going out, coming in, going out. And slowly, your mind will become calmer. You'll feel very calm, very soothing. Just listen to the breath, okay? Then what you want to do is you want to make sure that you are not breathing consciously. What does this mean? It means that you are not trying to breathe. You're not saying, I'm breathing in, I'm breathing out, breathing in, breathing out. You don't try to do it. The breath is always happening naturally. That's why you're still alive, okay? So your job is not to do the breathing, but it is to witness the breathing. You become a witness of the breath that is already happening. So you watch it. You watch it, you watch it, you watch it. Breathing in, breathing out. Breathing in, breathing out. You watch it. You don't do the breathing, you watch the breathing, okay? So this is a couple of minutes in. You are now in a much calmer state than when you started. And now is when you can begin the real concentration. So you pick an area that you will focus on, okay? And there's two areas here that I want to give you the option to choose from. One is the belly, okay? So the belly, rising, belly falling. Belly rising, belly falling. So when you are breathing correctly, your abdomen area, okay? I'll call it belly to make it easy. When you breathe in, the belly will come out. When you breathe out, the belly will come in. So rising, falling, rising, falling, rising, falling. Your job is just to focus on this. Just to focus on the rising and the falling, and the rising and the falling. There's a story of somebody who, traveled miles and miles, miles and miles to go to this monastery and learn meditation from, the real monks who practice, and that's pretty much the crux of their life. And, he goes in and he sits down hoping that the monk will come and give him some amazing instruction, some revelations that he had no idea about. And the Buddhist monk comes and essentially just tells him two things. When you breathe, there is rising, falling, rising, falling, rising, falling of the abdomen. Focus on that. And I will come back in 3 hours. And this is this is all he was asked to do. All he was asked to do. Okay. So the point is that when you do this practice, you are improving your concentration, right? Because first, mind will wander, you bring it back. It'll wander, you bring it back. It'll wander, you bring it back, right? That's the whole point. So you have the option of either focusing on the belly, rising and falling, or on the nostrils. So the nostrils, you're focusing simply on the breath coming in and going out of the nostrils, coming in and going out of the nostrils. So you're not watching the entire flow of the breath. You are watching the gate of the nostrils, the area between your upper lip and your nostrils, this entrance over here where the breath is coming in and going out. You just focus on this area. Just focus on this area. And the more you do this, you will start to notice that the sensations in this area are heightened. You feel like your nostrils are becoming bigger. You feel like your sense of smell is improving, and you just focus on this area, any one of these two, okay? So it's really that simple. You sit down, get comfortable, right? Listen to the sound of your breathing, become a witness to the breath, and then pick an area that you like, either the nostrils or the abdomen, rising, falling, and for the duration of your meditation, you set a timer, 20 minutes, half an hour, 1 hour. You just focus on this. Just focus on this. And this is a great way to begin your practice and to continue your practice, okay? So that is it. I really hope that helps. If you want to do a guided meditation on this YouTube channel, check out the section for guided meditations. There will be a couple of breathing ones there as the date of this video, but I'll keep on adding more, okay? So there you go. There are plenty of guided meditations you can do, but I just wanted to give you some, instruction outside of the actual meditation on how to know if you're doing it correctly or not. So I really hope that helps. Thank you for listening. Namaste.